Hey, it's Stu Peters and Richard Leonard for Law Dog Coffee Company. Welcome to Law Dog Coffee Company. Some heroes wear capes, ours wear a badge. Every single purchase you make goes to support law enforcement. So if you love the cops, if you support law enforcement, if you don't agree with defunding the police, if you want to make sure that they have good equipment, if you want to take care of law enforcement families, this is the only coffee that you want to drink. And not only that, their purpose is great, but the coffee is even better. You can sign up online very easily for freshly roasted specialty coffee to your door. You can choose weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly deliveries. Gifts and apparel also available. Law Dog Coffee Company, located at lawdogcoffee.com. Lawdogcoffee.com. That's lawdogcoffee.com. Use the promo code PCRadio for 10% off every purchase. People in my personal life, I've been asking people in my professional life, I've been asking people all over the place everywhere, when is the American public going to stop falling for the scamdemic?
You're asking me?
I'm asking you.
Your guess is as good as mine. And it's funny you say that because I found out yesterday on Sunday that my mother-in-law apparently has COVID again. She just got over it. But there's no way possible for her to have it. But the nursing home claims that because we were talking to her from outside the window 8 feet away from her bed without a mask, that we gave it to her again. Yikes.
So when you have the COVID, you can catch the COVID again.
Apparently, I did some research on that yesterday, and I found out that the CDC has no clear guidance as to whether or not you can be reinfected after successfully battling the great virus of 2020.
So is it because it's mutated? Is it different now? It's an intelligent virus, if you will?
Could be. Certainly could be.
I was out to eat tonight, and I've never been so aggravated. And actually, it wasn't even aggravated. It was more, it was peculiar to me. There was a guy that he came in with what I would assume would have been his wife and his mother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
And they sat at a table that was kind of, kitty corner to us. And I'm watching this guy. They all have their masks on, of course, because you have to. You have to have your mask on. You come in, you sit down, you put the mask on, and then you get escorted to your table, at which point you sit down, you take your mask off, and then you enjoy your cocktails and your dinner. Mm-hmm. If you have to go piss, by the way, make sure you put that thing back on, because when you stand, and by the way, here's another thing. The high top tables, they kill me, right? You're sitting at the level where people stand, but it's safe to remove it when you're at the high top. So I feel like at the high top table, there should be a disclaimer. No. You're not safe here because you're at the COVID peak lingering level, right?
You're at too high of an elevation for not to contract COVID.
Yeah, COVID is up here. And you're down there, you're safe. Anyways, so I digress. The guy, so I'm talking to, you know me, Richard. I've got, Marie, the wife, and then I've got Nolan, who's going to be 9 in November. I've got Eli, who's going to be 6 in November. And I've got Reagan, who just turned 2 in September. Mm-hmm. We're a busy family. I mean, there's a lot going on at a table. When you're when you're dealing with that kind of thing, there's a lot going on at that table. But the curiosity in me, I'm a trained observer, doing what we do for a living, being law enforcement trained. We're trained observers. You're kind of instinctively obligated, I guess I would say, to I dropped my pen, to deal with the surroundings, right? Like we don't put our back to the door. There's certain things you do when you go into a place. And so anyway, I'm watching this group, and it's these three people. And this guy's got this Minnesota Vikings mask on, which, by the way, is shameful, completely shameful for a lot of reasons. Number one, do the Vikings still play in the National Football League? Are they?
They played last night.
They're a professional football team. Did they win last night, by the way? They played
I have no idea.
The Seahawks, right?
Yeah.
The Seahawks, I think, are the number one rated team in the NFL right now. I don't know if the Vikings won or not, because I have not given 1 minute of my time to the National Football League. I can't do it. I just can't do it. If you want to bow and if you want to kneel, and by the way, we're going to get into that in a minute.
Okay.
So let me go back to this. I'm sitting at my table, and this guy's wearing this Minnesota Viking, and then so he's got his wife with him, and she's wearing some alternative neck scarf type thing as her mask, and then her mother is who I presume, because the husband sat on one side of the table, and then the wife, sat across from him, and then the really older lady next to her. So I would presume that it was her and her mother, and then her husband, right? Mm-hmm. The younger woman's husband. And so they're sitting there, and they leave their masks on for like 15 minutes. They order their drinks, they order their food, they still masks on. Well, the drinks come. Service was a little slow where we went, and they were busy. Very good restaurant. Love the place. It's in Lake City, Minnesota. They don't pay us, so I'm not going to mention their name, but really love the place. Never had a bad meal, never had bad service. Anyway, so the drinks come, and I'm curious now. Because I'm like, naturally, what are you going to do? Are you going to poke a hole in the mask? Or are you going to put the straw like underneath? What are you going to do? So I keep looking, and I think Marie kind of caught on to this, and she was kind of looking at me, looking at them, and her, she's kind of stop it. Just looking, why do you care so much?
So rude.
Well, because it's a curious thing. We're all a part of this, right? We're all dealing with this. The compliance, and it's all nonsense. And critical thinking, independent, free thinkers know this is nonsense. So now it's becoming kind of a humorous thing, and it has to be, because if it's not humorous to you, you're going to drive yourself nuts. Absolutely. And so I'm watching, and so the drinks come, and of course, the woman, she ordered a glass of wine, and then her mother, I think, had a glass of wine too. And the guy, he was good with water. He was good with that.
He's driving.
Stick with his water. And so when the wine comes, it gets set down in front of her, and she kind of paused, and I think that she was in a moment of, what do I do here now? This might have been their first night out since the Rona hit. They're
can't be
really exploring, getting kind of daring, if you will, right? You're going to go out amongst the virus.
Do you really think that's a thing? Like, people haven't been out since February?
I do. I really do think it's a thing, because I know people that are doing this. I do. I have a friend who's a brother to me that's homeschooling his kids. I can't figure it out. I've got a lot of problems with it, but everybody does their own thing. And
I suppose,
listen, I've come to a place in my life where I can only control the inner workings of what I have going on here. Mm-hmm. And most of the time can't even control that. So anyway, I'm watching her go through her motions. I can see her thinking, like, God dang it. What am I going to, eventually I'm going to have to take this mask off. And I'm thinking, lady, you ordered food, right? So, eventually you're going to have to eat your Cajun steak penne.
Unless she brought a feed bag and she can dump her food in there and strap it to her face.
And so the food comes, or let's back up a minute here. So the drinks are there, and so then she removes, and you know how like Biden does with it, where he pulls the mask off and then lets it dangle from the ear, and you've seen these people do this, and it's like, come on, man. Oh, I just did it. I just did a
Biden to everybody.
I just did a Biden. So anyway, the thing is dangling from her ear, and I'm curious. Like, are you going to put the thing back up? Are you going to do the sip and mask? Or is that what we're doing here? She didn't. She took a sip. She let it dangle, and then she reaches over to her old mother and pulls her mask down. How daring, by the way. Ooh. I mean, that's dangerous. Yeah. This is a very dangerous thing. I mean, her mother had to be in the 70-year-old to 105-year-old range. She only has a 97.6% chance of surviving this thing.
Yeah, how dare you?
And she pulled that mask right down off of her daringly, like in Jurassic Park, where you decide, no, you're going to confront Tyrannosaurus Rex in the kitchen with the spoon.
Yeah.
She pulled the mask down daringly, and she handed her mother her glass of wine, at which point then she took a sip and then left it dangle, of course. The husband, now I'm fixated on this guy. Like, when is he going to do it? Are you going to pull the mask down? Are you going to do it? He's stuck with his water.
He's waiting for approval.
I think he was. I think he really was. He was waiting for it's okay.
You're safe to drink your water.
Yeah, go ahead, honey. Just remove this is ridiculous. This whole thing is preposterous. I was on Twitter today, and I got chastised for it again. Wake up. There is a 98 point something percent, or 99 point something, or 96 even would be okay with me percent chance of you living with this thing. Richard, how old is your mother-in-law?
78.
Okay.
And she already had it once.
Underlying conditions are what? If you're willing. Listen, I don't want to.
No. She's had 2 aortic dissections. She had a stroke. She had a prolonged seizure. She's had pneumonia multiple times. She's had COVID. All this started in April. All that since April.
Before the COVID, though, I mean, she was laid up. I mean, there was a point in time, and forgive me, you can tell me to F off if I'm doing too much here.
No.
I don't ever want to divulge too much. But are you okay with me going here?
Yeah.
Okay. There was a time where her family was considering the life support departure.
Well, that was what was recommended to them. She was in palliative care, and my wife had become the power of attorney, and the doctors were telling her, well, there's not a whole lot much more we can do, and she was on forced oxygen. And apparently you can only be on it for so long until it starts to break down your insides because it's such high pressure.
Yeah.
And so their recommendation was, we can only keep her on it for so much longer, and then we got to just take it off. And then, she's going to fight, of course. But when she goes, she goes. And then like 2 days later, magically, the oxygen was off. She was breathing on her own. The COVID was gone. Pneumonia was gone. And apparently yesterday they found out she has it again. So if she can make it through it, this little old, she's 5'3", 5'4", maybe 110 pounds, a lot less now because she's been laid up for months. She can fight through it. So can the lady at the restaurant who puts her mask back on like she's in an F-16 and putting on her oxygen mask.
So there's new reports coming out from places like Michigan and New York that these mandates are going to include exactly that. Sip mask, bite mask. Who's going to do this? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do this?
Well, it's been my observation lately that people are, like businesses are telling you, yeah, you got to do this. And, but we're not going to force you. I was in a store the other day and I forgot my mask. So I went to the guy at the counter and go, hey, do you have any masks? And I always kind of make up the excuse, well, my dog got mine or I lost it out of my pocket or
You
whatever.
do the dog with the homework deal.
Yeah. My dog ate it.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I don't know if we have any, but nobody's going to bother you. Like we're supposed to have it on the door. We recommend that you wear it and we wish that you would, but really nobody's going to ask you to put one on and they're not going to question why you don't have one.
Right.
So,
yeah. I went to our local Farm and Fleet place today. I don't shop at the big Menards or Home Depots or Lowe's. I go to
the small business.
Yes, because it's the backbone of our economy. And I bought a trailer today. I bought a utility trailer. It cost me roughly $1,500. It's a 5x10 trailer. So, because here's the deal. I've got a lawn tractor. We've been through this. I mow for several people. I do snow removal for several people. I like it. It's fun, and I enjoy doing things for other people. But anyways, so my lawnmower will fit on my current trailer. So Scotty and I, my buddy, we went in on a trailer together several years ago. And it's what was it? I think that was a 5x8 trailer. That fits my lawnmower and my deck. But when I put the blower attachment on the front of my John Deere, it doesn't. It doesn't fit. And then now you're borrowing trailers and bothering people. Anyway, so I went to buy one. Wife is pissed, by the way. Went to buy one, and yeah, I know it's totally out of the norm for her. But anyway, so I went to buy one, brought it home, and when I'm there, I'm like, so I have Eli with me. He's 5, and when you're under 6, the mandates don't apply to you. So when we're pulling up and I'm putting my mask on, he's like, Dad, I forgot my mask, and I'm like, don't worry about it. You're under 6. So when we went in, I was like, what kind of virtuous signaling is this if I put my mask on and my kid's not wearing one? That's kind of weird, right?
Well, why is that? Why do you not have to wear one if you're under 6 years old?
Why do you have to wear one when you're sitting down but not when you're standing up? Why do you have to wear one when you take a piss but not when you're taking a bite of your burrito?
Well, there's a good reason why you have to wear one while you're taking a piss. We've already talked about that.
No,
the splatter
we're not going there. No.
Urinal.
Yeah, we're not going there. When I flush my toilet, the poop particles don't go in my coffee either. Okay, I put the lid down. I put the no. Anyways, so I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to wear my mask. And if somebody confronts me about my mask wearing, I'm going to tell them no. I'm here to buy a trailer. I'm not scared. And if you're scared, then wear your mask. Yep. And why won't your mask work if I'm not wearing mine? So nobody said a thing. Nobody said a damn thing. I went in there. I spent my 15 with the hitches and the straps that I bought, and I bought some stable for the fuel and all my small engines and everything else. It ended up being a couple grand. Mm-hmm. Jesus, I hope the wife doesn't listen to this show. It ended up being a couple of grand. That's fine, but I never wore the mask. It's ridiculous that people still feel that they have to do this. This is not about control. This is not about compliance. This is about health and safety.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they tell you. They tell you that. That is complete BS. It is all about control. It is all about compliance. None of this is about health or safety. And the fact that people like this guy with the Minnesota Vikings mask, who then removes his thing when the food comes, I actually wanted to approach him. There are people that won't do that because it's less than tactful. to approach somebody and go, hey, bro, I saw that, you came in here with your mask on. I saw that, you refused to remove it. And then your food came. And then I saw that you gleefully took that son of a bitch off. And you were, shoving down your penne.
Did everybody at the table have penne pasta?
I don't know. It was an example because that's what I had. And it was really good, by the way. It was very good. I wish these people could pay us for advertisement because I would gleefully give them probably 100 free ads. It's that good. I really like this place. They're really good. And I'll tell you off the air where I went, and you'll love going there. But anyways, so I just want to ask him, hey, man, check this out. I got a question for you. You came in here with your, the question, the line of questioning is obvious. The listeners here don't need me to walk them through what I'd like to ask this guy. But are you serious? I mean, you really just sat there for 25 minutes, and I heard the old lady was like, what was that? What was that? I'm sorry, what? And she's trying to hear this guy as he's mumbling through this minor league football team mask, right?
Yeah.
And he's you can't hear a damn thing that this guy is saying because it's and I hate that. I hate when people talk to me through these masks. And the funny thing about it is when you're wearing one of these things, people can't hear you, so they ask you to repeat yourself multiple times. So as you're repeating yourself, what do? Naturally,
speak up.
You get louder.
Yeah.
Well, when you get louder, what do? You spit, right? You're soaking the shit out of this mask while you're talking to these people, and you're doing everything except being sterile. These masks are not getting washed every. I guarantee you. Well, I guess I can't guarantee you because I don't know how this guy lives. But I know at my home, we've got a baggie of, the wife bought many masks for the kids. I hate it, but they got to wear them every day in school. It is what it is. So
even under 6 in school?
Under 6 in school, yes. Oh. So we have, I don't know, probably 20 masks or so. And, we've got hockey teams and football teams and, then just regular whatever. But these kids wear these, when they come home, they're not washed every day. I mean, they're washed occasionally or frequently even. But you can't keep up with all of that.
Well, plus they're switching them with each other in school.
That's another thing. Yes. Yeah. Your mask is cool. I want to wear that one. Okay, well, you can wear it at recess. Well, what good is this doing? It's doing no good. There are doctors that say it's doing no good. We don't listen to them. We don't. We cannot listen to science on this thing because if you don't wear your mask, you're racist. If you don't wear your mask, it is racist to not wear your mask. Absolutely, it's racist to not wear your mask. You know why?
Why?
Well, because the liberal, progressive radicals say so. And if you don't agree with me, you're automatically racist.
So that makes it the gospel.
Well, I don't know what it makes it, but it makes it insurvivable and unsurmountable that people are still falling for this. The sheep mentality in this country is beyond unbelievable. It is completely indescribable. This guy, by the way.
Oh, look at that fella.
Yeah, that's my grandfather right there.
That's awesome.
For those of you listening, the million of you listening on iHeartRadio, I'm holding up a picture of my grandfather, William Stewart, and that is him with his broadcasting microphone with CBS, WCCO, Minneapolis. And can you see the resemblance? What do you think? Is there a do we look like each other?
You have the same dimples or smile lines, whatever the hell they're called.
Well, that's cute.
Yes.
Here's the deal.
Do you suppose, Stu, that when the truth comes out that all these people are going to go, oh my God, I'm effing dummy.
No, I don't believe that they will. I think that at that point it will still be that we were insensitive. We didn't care about he or her or them or she or whatever you want to call yourself. Bruce Jenner.
It.
Sure. We didn't care about you, and so automatically we're insensitive, racist, bigoted, xenophobic, homophobic, viral deniers is what we are. More of this stupid conversation coming up in about 3 minutes. Stick around. PC Radio. My name is Stu. That's Rich. Hang out with us.
We will force votes.
We will not stop.
Any Republican senator is part of the cover-up.
What the f***?
Impeachment.
This is madness.
The PC Radio Show with Stu and Rich. Back in a minute.
Hey, it's Stu Peters and Richard Leonard for Law Dog Coffee Company. Welcome to Law Dog Coffee Company. Some heroes wear capes, ours wear a badge. Every single purchase you make goes to support law enforcement. So if you love the cops, if you support law enforcement, if you don't agree with defunding the police, if you want to make sure that they have good equipment, if you want to take care of law enforcement families, this is the only coffee that you want to drink. And not only that, their purpose is great, but the coffee is even better. You can sign up online very easily for freshly roasted specialty coffee to your door. You can choose weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly deliveries. Gifts and apparel also available. Law Dog Coffee Company, located at lawdogcoffee.com. Lawdogcoffee.com. That's lawdogcoffee.com. Use the promo code PCRadio for 10% off every purchase.
Prop 25 ends our right to put up bail for anyone, even though they may have been racially profiled. Prop 25 replaces bail with computer algorithms. Academic studies show that these algorithms are biased. Some call them black boxes. And Prop 25's new bureaucracy delays justice for innocent people stuck in jail. The NAACP asks you to vote no on Proposition 25.
Hey, it's Stu Peters for Johnson Jewelers, located in Woodbury, Minnesota, but more importantly, located online worldwide at johnsonjewelers.com. Why is that important to you? Well, because if you have been left behind or you have discovered a family heirloom or something that's important to you, maybe it's grandma's birthstone, or maybe it's a pendant or a family crest, maybe it's grandpa's ring, but it doesn't quite fit you, or maybe it needs to be restored, or you see something completely different in mind. Why shove that thing in a safety deposit box? Why put it aside or put it in a shadow box or just break it out every once in a while to show the grandkids? Instead, you could wear that with a custom piece of jewelry designed for you, specifically by johnsonjewelers.com. A quick visit to the website, a couple of emails exchanged, and maybe a few phone calls, and you will have that custom piece of jewelry that means something for you. Visit them online, worldwide, johnsonjewelers.com, johnsonjewelers.com. That's johnsonjewelers.com. The first segment was kind of weird because, you know, when we start spitballing like that, it gets to a point where it's like when I'm frustrated with something or just want to talk about something, I kind of selfishly use our airwaves, you know, and I don't want to feel like I'm wasting the time of a million listeners. But I think realistically, I can speculate that at least half of them might be feeling somewhat similar to the way that I'm feeling. I mean, I think it's ridiculous. This mask thing is unbelievable. During the break, you were talking about you were at drill this weekend, and you had a story. Go ahead.
Okay, so I was at drill in my National Guard unit, and I was standing around with a couple guys, and there's this one in particular. He's a black fella. He's probably in his mid-20s, fairly successful for, he's a computer guy. And I asked him, I'm like, hey, man, you're a pretty mellow dude. Let me ask you something. And he goes, oh, boy. And I said, well, what's that all about? He goes, well, anytime you start a sentence out with, let me ask you something, it's something off the wall crazy.
I can agree with him.
And I said, okay, well, then maybe this is crazy. I said, but you're a black guy and you live in Minneapolis. So do you feel and do you think that there's systemic racism going on in your community and with the cops and with the, you know, politics and all this other stuff? Do you think white people that you are in and around every day are systemically racist? And he goes, hell no. He said, we handled all that stuff back during the civil rights movement and Jim Crow and all that. He said, however, I do think that there are racist people, but I don't think it's a systemic problem.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, there's no question that ignorance is in abundance, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have ignorant people. I mean, look at the people that I just described with their masks on and then eating and then drinking and then mask on and then mask off and mask. I mean, there are ignorant people everywhere. It's become a political statement to call somebody racist. It's become a political statement to wear a device that is supposed to keep you healthy and safe, right?
Right.
It's not beyond people to make race a political issue. It is the front-running political issue every 3.5 years, which is about the time frame that it takes for Democrats or radical progressive liberals to speak to, I don't even want to say their constituents because they're really not. Black people are not the constituents of radical liberals. They don't belong to them. And for them to put themselves in a box where they automatically have to vote one way because of the color of their skin is basically tipping the hat to racism. That's saying, you got me. I'm still enslaved, and because of the color of my skin, I am required to vote for you. So, speaking of tipping the hat, a hat tip to your buddy and to the guy that you serve with. And by the way, thank you for your service and to him as well for his.
Thank you.
It's refreshing to hear that, and not uncommon. You don't see things like that on the mainstream media. You don't see stuff like that when you tune into channel CNN or tune into channel ABC or NBC. You don't see that on local news channels. What do we have here? 9, 4, 5, 11. You don't see that because it doesn't fit the narrative of what I refer to as the sex of the day. If I can't show you something burning or show a cop getting beat up or show somebody dying or somebody's business being ruined or somebody going through the worst time of their life, then I have to move on until I can. And they're just chasing and frantically just going after this sex of the day, this hatred, this division, this racist divide, this political divide, this polarization of America, and good on him for not going there.
Well, the best part of the conversation, I'll be quick, was the end.
Well, you don't have to be quick. I mean, we're just going to go to the phone lines because it's a Monday, and, I'm kind of feeling, and please don't lose that thought because I know that you're quick to do that.
Yes.
I'm feeling kind of, I don't know, what do you call that?
Nostalgic?
No, not nostalgic. Spontaneous.
Oh.
I'm just
off the cuff.
We have a general guideline or outline, I guess, if you will, every day with what we're going to do on our show. So most days that we have slated guests, and then we kind of move our show that way. But I like these shows. I like these shows where we can kind of just talk, and we're just Americans. And maybe what we're saying is exactly synonymous with what Steve, the truck driver that I know from Hager. By the way, Steve, hey, how you doing? I know you're listening. Maybe we're just like that, where he believes exactly what we're saying, but maybe hasn't thought of it that way. Or maybe we believe exactly what he's saying, but we haven't thought of it the way that he does. Or maybe it's Beth that's listening, and she's wearing her mask, and she's like, these guys.
Yeah, it could be. Well, whatever.
But with the spitballing thing, I want to go to the phones because we have a couple of calls holding. But you were saying, and yes, wrap it up quickly because I want to get to this call.
Okay, so the end of the conversation went like this. We got onto the topic of Black Lives Matter. And his stance on Black Lives Matter was that he's real sick and tired of, opening his Facebook or whatever, his social media account, and seeing some white dude or some white gal with green hair and a megaphone screaming about, F Donald Trump and defund the police and F the police and all that other crap. And his exact words were, man, F them, because we can't say the real word. I'm really sick of all these people talking for me. He said, I'm half tempted to go out to some of these rallies and I'd fit in just fine because I have dark skin and walk up to these people while they're speaking in their megaphone and slap the shit out of them and tell them to quit speaking for me.
Yeah.
It's and so my respect for him was it went to a whole nother level. I already respect the hell out of him, but it went to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So who's on the phone?
Mine did too. I don't know. We have Hank from Hinckley, Minnesota. Hank,
Hinckley,
you are
Hank.
on with PC Radio. Thank you for holding. I know it's been a long time. You've been on hold, but hello.
Good afternoon, fellas.
We do have him. All right, there he is.
I
didn't
Hinckley
know if I was
Hank.
going to do it right there. Hank, you're on PC Radio. You've heard what we've been talking about here today. What's on your mind, sir?
I have. I kind of piggyback off of both of you with both your comments, in that I am extremely tired of. We've been hearing a lot of noise since Chauvin posted bond. Mm-hmm. Since he's bailed out of jail, everybody's screaming. Now, mind you, these are the same people that are screaming about due process. But yet now when this man gets his due process, well, you're a racist if you think it's okay. And the other side of that coin, too, is that anytime, as you reiterated earlier, Stu, is anytime somebody doesn't agree with you, you're a racist. Mm-hmm. And again, since everybody's a racist, I mean, it's almost like that word doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah. I've been saying that for a while, Hank. I told Richard the other day, it's kind of like the word gay. Remember when you didn't like something and you were like, oh, that's gay, right? Or when something was stupid or less than cool, that was gay. And if you believed in that, you're a fag. Are we allowed to say that, by the way? Is fag okay? Fag.
I guess we'll find out.
Get me fined by the FCC here. Mm-hmm. Anyways, so being racist is now kind of the same thing, which that's gay. So anyway, yeah, no, I totally agree with you. If somebody 5 years ago, Hank, were to call me a racist, I would have lost sleep at night. That would have been a
terrible thing to say to someone.
Absolutely, it would have. But now if somebody calls me a racist, I'm kind of like, well, yeah, I probably am. I mean, yeah, probably, because I don't agree with you. So that's probably true. I'm probably a racist. It's ridiculous. I've got some guy that lives in my town, by the way, a registered predatory offender, and he likes little girls and all this kinds of, and the whole town knows about him, but yet he still jacks his jaw off every day, and then now he's got a fake Facebook where he actually says that he's a nurse that works for the Mayo Clinic. The Mayo Clinic ought to go after this guy because he's representing them, and he's a predatory offender who spouts off racist BS all the time. The point is that this guy even says the American flag is a symbol of racism. Hank, to that you say what?
I would say that whoever this quasi-nurse from Mayo would be out of his mind. I would actually say quite the opposite, is that if you think about whatever town you live in, Stu, and you walk down the streets, is it all blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Third Reich type of people, or do you live in this big cornucopia of folks like pretty much all the rest of us do?
Yeah.
I would say to the opposite, that flag actually would represent the hundreds of cultures that have come together to call this country home and make it as great as it is. And I think that anybody who's going to say that this country is not great, well, two things. A, move. Wherever you think is better. I hear there's great real estate specials in North Korea this time of year. Go.
Mm-hmm.
If it sucks that bad, buy. Hey, and I just think you're living in a hole and you've got an agenda. I mean, but again, that seems like that hot catchphrase right now is how bad America is. No, it's not.
And
I'm sorry that you didn't get your.
Facebook,
I'm sorry that these groups of people
didn't
get their way.
He said to me, "You should get some people with opposing views on your show." I will mention that we've invited John Thompson on this show. Richard, how many times has John Thompson been invited on this show?
More than 5, less than 20.
Okay, and has he responded?
Absolutely not.
Because
Why would he?
anytime somebody asks a radical to have a real conversation dealing with real questions in front of millions of people, they won't do it. But he'll be the first one to go to a Black Lives Matter protest, or riot, rather, and grab a megaphone and stand out in front of a cop's house and start screaming about burning his town down. Yeah. And then I was told how BLM is not a violent group and all this other stuff. This guy can bite my ass, okay? BLM, Black Lives Matter as a group, as a political group, is a violent organization. They are a racist organization. They are a divisive and hateful organization. And if somebody wasn't racist before, because of the actions of a group like Black Lives Matter, they will be now. Hank, in 30 seconds, your final words, because I got to get moving on.
Well, I disagree also about your differing viewpoints, is that you had that one guy, whatever his name is, Tom Razzo or whatever, the cop in there in Illinois. You definitely had differing viewpoints there, and that guy was out of his mind.
Who's Tom Razzo?
But yeah,
Izzo.
Tom Razzo.
Yeah,
Rizzo.
Izzo. Okay, yeah, the Mojo 50 radio host. Got it. Yep,
that guy. And listen to your conversations with him. Definitely an opposing viewpoint.
Yeah.
But again, you can't make people with opposing viewpoints come on your show. You've got to deal with what you've got, and I think you do great. And
I think we lost him.
Oh shit.
Well, it's all right. It happens. We've had many opportunities to invite people on the show. I've been razzed many times for not answering the phone lines. We're doing it now.
Yep.
People don't really, I don't think, listen to the show so they can hear people call in to talk about their thing. But, on this Monday, people listen. We have a reach to some guests. We have many people who are experts in fields of social media, law enforcement, politics, things like that. We invite them on the show. That's, I think, what people listen for, because they want an alternative source to the fake news media that is constantly perpetuating false facts, if you will, and I use that term lightly, into your living rooms, because they don't trust him anymore, Richard.
I don't doubt him. I don't doubt him at all. And I think that people also, Stu, really they listen to our show and shows like ours because we're real people. And there's a real message there. Whether you agree with it or not, it is what it is, right? I mean, I have no motivation to make up a bunch of bullshit to tell all these people that are listening to us.
I know you don't. And the one thing that I could say, the only show that I put on here is the Suit and Tie, because I don't do that every day. I do it for this show at 4:00 every afternoon because I want to show respect for my listeners. It's worth your time. It's worth my time for you, and it's worth your time for me. So if it's worth your time for me, it's worth my time for you. Does that make sense? Let's talk about packing the court with Joe Biden. Let's see what he has to say about this.
One notable moment came towards the end of the debate where the senator did not answer the question with regard to the issue of court packing. That is something that we saw in last week's debate as well.
Harris wouldn't answer the question about the court packing. And that's significant, and Biden and Harris should answer it.
They'll know my opinion on court packing when the election is over. Now, look, I know it's a great question, y'all, and I don't blame you for asking it. But you know, the moment I answer that question, the headline in every one of your papers will be about that.
Sir, I've got to ask you about packing the courts. And I know that you said yesterday you aren't going to answer the question until after the election. But this is the number one thing that I've been asked about from viewers in the past couple of days.
Well, you've been asked by the viewers who are probably Republicans who don't want me continuing to talk about what they're doing to the court right now.
Well, sir, don't the voters deserve to know?
No,
where
they
we
don't.
stand?
I'm not going to play his game.
So, let's just back up for a second here. Mm-hmm. So, first of all, he's saying the voters don't deserve to know whether or not it's his intent to pack the court.
Wrong.
For those of you that don't know what packing the court means, you've probably heard this, in passing with your, news media, and pack the court this and pack the court that. What that means is essentially they're going to take a 9 justice seats, right, which is for 150 years, the court has been 9 Supreme Court justices. Well, you can't have an even number. Right. So 9 was the number. What the radical leftist progressives would like to do, which was suggested by Biden years ago, is that they pack the court. So essentially, they turn it from a 9-member court to a 15-member court, essentially making it a mini Congress. It's another legislative branch of government, which we do not need. And so what's going to happen is when Amy Coney Barrett gets confirmed by the Senate, which she will be, the way that they combat that appointment, which is a sacred thing, Richard. I mean, the appointment of a Supreme Court justice
for life.
Is for life, and it's a sacred thing, and the president shall nominate to fill a vacancy. The Senate shall vote to confirm or deny said appointment. There's no reason not to confirm her. So she's going to get confirmed. And then if for some reason Kamala Harris were to be elected president and Joe Biden were to sit in the seat,
well played.
The idea there is that they will pack the court. So that means they turn it from a 9-member court to a 15-member court so that they can then take the remaining open vacancies and fill them with radical progressive liberals so that then they win.
Is there no regulation about how many people of each side of the aisle there has to be?
The idea that the court packing is obviously a legal question, but apparently is a realistic ideal that can actually be affected by a sitting president, where by executive order or by an act of Congress, this can actually be done. So here's
scary.
The situation is, if we cannot win by the rules, then we will just change the rules.
Right. And it all drives me crazy because I have a hard time understanding why. I have a hard time understanding why there's such this hunger for power and this hunger to be in charge and hunger to pack the court and hunger to just be an outright lying son of a bitch. I don't understand what it is because their whole job, Stu, their whole job is to serve the people of this country, not fight each other and deface and defame each other.
That is supposed
the next
to be what
seat
it is.
Of power. It's
right.
Ridiculous.
That is supposed to be what it is. Ideally, they are supposed to go there and serve the people, but instead, they will come after you if you try to hold them accountable. You don't believe me? Watch this.
April 5th, 2016. This is an idyllic Southern California spring day. As I'm walking out to take the kitchen garbage out, I turn around the corner and pass a big white windowless van. All of a sudden the door swings open and this tall uniformed guy steps out and he has a piece of paper in his hands and he says, "Are you David Daleiden?" And he says, "I'm with the California Department of Justice. We have a search warrant for your home." And he hands me the warrant. And I think to myself, oh gosh, what's going to happen next? So about 5 or 6 California DOJ agents started stomping through my apartment. The other 5 of them standing on the lawn outside. Some of them were armed with AR-15s. Some of them had canine dogs with them. They had come for me. In 2013, I began and orchestrated an almost 3-year-long, very in-depth, comprehensive investigative journalism study about the harvesting and trafficking of body parts from late-term abortions. There's multiple violations and multiple issues that you very quickly start to learn about when you look into it. There's the basic problem of selling body parts, where you're basically creating a system, creating transactions, creating business relationships that incentivize the objectification and the destruction of human beings in order to keep the business going. So for about 30 months, we went undercover with the explicit purpose of partnering with some of the biggest Planned Parenthood abortion clinics in the country to send their technicians in, harvest body parts from the abortions that were being done that day, and then package up the parts and ship them off to different customers all around the country, sometimes around the world. In July of 2015, we began to release the Undercover video series. I had been hoping that this was something that would, that would maybe generate 100,000 views or something. Instead, what happened was even bigger than I could have imagined. Within less than a week, we had close to 3 million views on YouTube of the first video, and multiple congressional committees announcing that they were launching federal investigations of Planned Parenthood's involvement in fetal trafficking and fetal experimentation. The truth got out there, and the words of Planned Parenthood's own leadership describing their organization's participation in these activities went viral and was being publicized for the whole world to see.
Wow.
Looking back on it from the information that we know now, I now know what was going on was that Kamala Harris, at the explicit instruction of Planned Parenthood, had targeted me, and me alone, among all undercover video news gatherers in the state of California, to enforce the California video recording law against me and to punish me for speaking the truth about her powerful campaign donors at Planned Parenthood. What we've come to learn in the years since, just 2 weeks before serving the search warrant on my home, Kamala Harris had a secret meeting in Los Angeles with several top-level executives of Planned Parenthood in California. We then found out from the California DOJ investigator reports that Planned Parenthood's top lawyer in California had specifically instructed the California DOJ agents that Planned Parenthood wanted the video equipment and the computers that I was using to publish the videos to be seized, in order to shut me up, in order to prevent me from continuing to publish the truth about Planned Parenthood's involvement in fetal trafficking, and in order to punish me for speaking out with a message that was disfavored by Planned Parenthood and by Kamala Harris in the state of California.
Joe the Cop has predicted on our show multiple times, Richard, that there's going to be a time in our country where law-abiding citizens who have been labeled the suspect, while the suspect has been officially classified as the victim, are left with no choice but to resist the police.
Yep.
This is not what we want. But in situations like this, where people like Kamala Harris, as a prosecutor, are specifically and without doubt coming after you for trying to expose her corruption in the selling of baby remains, I don't see how humans with any sense of core value could go along with that when they come to your door with that warrant.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting, and that bitch should not be allowed to serve in any elected office, especially the office of the vice president. Should not be able to happen.
And people know damn well that a vote for Joe Biden is a vote for Kamala Harris. During the vice presidential debates the other night, when I was asking you the other day on this show, if you thought that the vice presidential debates actually held any weight in the decision making for, potential voters, you articulated that in most cases, no, it wouldn't. But in this particular case, it might, because we all know that Biden won't finish out his presidency.
Right.
Probably not even the first term. My prediction is 30 to 90 days. Mm-hmm. We have a 6-pack of beer bet on that.
Can't wait.
Well, we're going to be drinking together, because that's what's going to happen in the unfortunate circumstance that somehow Biden and Harris are allowed to fill these seats. I mean, it's insane. Richard, it's Monday, and we went way, way off the beaten path of what we normally do on this show.
That's all right.
But I kind of like it, and I feel pretty good about doing this. It was kind of like my own meeting with a psychological professional, I guess, if you will.
Well, I'm glad I could be your therapist.
I got to lay down on your couch for a while.
And
I'm sorry to burden you with my...
It's okay.
Dark and dismal outlook. Your final words for today.
My final words, I just want to say happy Monday to everybody. Get educated. Again, be educated before you vote. Please, please, please.
And until tomorrow on Tuesday, here's what's up to it, here's what's down to it, here's to any way you can get to it, here's to those that don't do it, may they be dragged to it, tied to it, or forced to it, and here's to us who do it. Because we're the ones that's used to it. Remember to fly low and avoid the radar. Richard, one day they're going to come for the car, and when they do, save the radio!
PCRadio.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Joe, it's time to go, go, go. You're just so status quo. Both friend and foe know you're a no-go, Joe.
Come on, man.
The PC Radio Show with Stu and Rich.
Hey, it's Stu Peters and Richard Leonard for Law Dog Coffee Company. Welcome to Law Dog Coffee Company. Some heroes wear capes, ours wear a badge. Every single purchase you make goes to support law enforcement. So if you love the cops, if you support law enforcement, if you don't agree with defunding the police, if you want to make sure that they have good equipment, if you want to take care of law enforcement families, this is the only coffee that you want to drink. And not only that, their purpose is great, but the coffee is even better. You can sign up online very easily for freshly roasted specialty coffee to your door. You can choose weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly deliveries. Gifts and apparel also available. Law Dog Coffee Company, located at lawdogcoffee.com. Lawdogcoffee.com. That's lawdogcoffee.com. Use the promo code PCRadio for 10% off every purchase.